is very, very busy here. And I can tell you, just looking around here, I'd say about half the people here are still wearing a mask. Many are not, though, including some employees. Now, according to the federal government, it is entirely up to you whether you wear one at U.S. airports.
A sight we haven't seen in more than a year. Travelers maskless on planes and walking through airports after a major reversal. A federal judge in Florida striking down the mask mandate on public transportation. The Biden administration saying masks are no longer required on planes, trains, buses, and transportation hubs.
You know, we've made it this far, and it's like, why take that extra risk if we don't have to?
It's fantastic news.
If you want to play that game, go ahead, but I'm going to keep the mask on.
The judge, appointed by former President Trump, saying the mandate exceeds the CDC's statutory authority and violates the procedures required for agency rulemaking. Now United, American, Delta, Southwest, JetBlue, and Alaska Airlines confirming they will no longer make passengers mask up. Fights over wearing a mask on a plane have overwhelmingly made up the number of unruly passengers on flights. Stop! Thousands since the start of the pandemic. Now, flight attendants urging calm and patience as the industry shifts gears.
We're talking about changing announcements, changing communications to passengers when they're checking in, when they're buying their tickets, changing the signage all over the airports, and changing the policies.
Those revisions now hitting the roads as well. Rideshare company Uber announcing overnight it is dropping mask mandates for drivers and riders. The judge's ruling comes as the nation sees a rise in infections from the BA2 subvariant, with 34 states and territories seeing at least 10% increases over the last week. For the first time since January, COVID infection rates among children are up, but overall numbers are still much lower than during other parts of the pandemic.
Much of the central swath of the Northeast crushed with this just wet and thick snow. Closer to the coast, more flooding and rain. That's dangerous for travel and for people. It actually, in fact, turned deadly in Maryland as this nor'easter impacts millions of people.
A mid-April winter blast slamming into the Northeast. Dangerous winds, flooding, and more than a foot of snow leading to treacherous conditions. And in Annapolis, Maryland, a tree crashing down on a home, killing one and injuring 4 others. In central Pennsylvania, plows out and working overtime to clear the roads after nearly 4 inches of snowfall. Trucks pulling over to put chains on to help navigate the conditions. Slick roads leading to multiple wrecks across the state, cars and trucks flipping over. Some drivers pulling over to wait out the elements.
Slippery roads and getting in and out in the bad weather.
Rain coming down along the coast. Flood-prone areas inundated, and in Virginia, parts of the state blanketed in half a foot of snow, with standstill traffic along Interstate 64 after multiple vehicles couldn't manage to stay on the road in the slick conditions.